What's up YouTube? I'm the nice one, and today we are going to texture that sword we had made not too long ago. Yeah, we're gonna texture it in Blender. Forgive me, I'm actually working off an older version of Blender. I think it's like 2.9 at this point, but I've been doing so much Maya stuff that I haven't updated. So maybe I'll start posting more videos about working off that. But anyway, why don't I just jump straight into, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, so let's texture this thing. So there's a couple ways we could do it, but since I assume most of you who are watching this might be just getting started off, let's just do it the simpler way first, and then maybe I'll show you how to do actual texture painting. So bring in the model we had made in Maya into, you can actually do this in whatever platform you want. I just do this in Blender because that's what I'm more familiar with. But yeah, like Substance Painter and stuff like that. But anyway, if you're working off Blender, bring the object file into Blender, and then first thing I want to suggest is pressing 5 on your keypad, because if you press 5, it'll bring it into isometric view, so that way things are a lot more proportional and you don't have to worry about perspective. So this is perspective view, and if you press 5, it's isometric. And then pressing 1 brings you to the front view. Now what we want to do is we're going to do a couple things. So let's pull up a new panel, and let's change this panel into the node editor. So we can either do this using the node editor, or you can actually just use the channel selection here. I usually like to do the node editor, but whatever you're more comfortable with works for me too. Anyway, the first thing you want to do is select the whole thing, and then let's go new, and let's actually transition to the material object here. And you see how we created a new material by clicking that use nodes feature here? This material is basically what will render the texture onto your model. So right now the material output is just a diffuse shader, which is just a basic shader, which basically, like, as soon as light hits it, it just kind of refracts it, like in the standard way, diffuses it basically. So we can do a couple things. So if we switch over to render view right here, we'll see that our sword is white, and we can adjust the color. So we can change it to red or whatever. And there you go, we're done. No, I'm joking. Okay, so we're gonna make a couple of different materials, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna assign each different piece of the sword to a different material. That way we get that way it looks like everything's colored differently. Okay, so let's start doing that. So let's say this base material, let's make it silver. So let's maybe make it like kind of white, and then darken it a little bit. Yeah, sure. That's kind of silvery, right? Maybe a little bit more like this. Yeah, something like that, right? Yeah, that's okay. Hit assign to make sure. So click A to select the entire mesh and hit assign. And then go into render view and see how we're looking. Okay, looks good so far. Okay, great. Now what we want to do next is let's see if we can try and color this handle here. Okay, so the way I want to do that is first, let's go press 1 so we can get back into perspective mode. Press Z to go into wire so that we can see all of the faces. And let's do this. Let's go B for box selection and just select everything here so that we select the entire handle. Okay. Now in your material slots, click the plus icon to create a new material slot. Material slots basically act as slots. So you can slot in a bunch of different materials and assign each specific material to a different portion of a mesh. So this is what I mean by that. So let's do that again. So undo. Let's go select the entire handle, plus on the material slot section to make a new slot, and then click new to create a new material. Okay, and again, it automatically generates this material output with a basic diffuse shader. So let's maybe change this to something like a dark red, perhaps. Yeah, like a dark red. Yeah, yeah, that looks cool. Now what you want to do is make sure you hit assign while this handle is selected with the box selection. So that's really important. Make sure the pieces that you want this specific material to assign to is highlighted. Okay, so hit assign, go to render. And so it might not render because you're still viewing the previous one. So hit assign one more time, and there you go. Now we got a cool, nice little red handle here. Okay, and so we can pretty much go along and change up the entire sword this way by highlighting different sections and coloring it differently. Okay, so let's try that. So let's say we want to select these faces. So go 1, Z, and let's select these top one right here. So go B to select all these faces, and also I want to select this one right here. So to do that, you want to go select this face and then Shift Alt, click this edge in order to click the entire ring. And let's do the same thing here, okay? You know what, actually I can do this a bit more easily. Let's select all these and then go Shift Alt Select, and there we go. Okay, so that's what I want to select. Now let's make a new slot. Let's make a new material, and let's color this like a dark gray. Yeah, let's color this like a dark grayish color. Yeah, dark gray looks good. Click Assign. And then, you know what, we can do the same thing for this bottom right here. So select that, Shift select this, and then maybe let's go this. I mean, I could box select the entire thing, but I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of just manually select all these faces. Select all of these things, making sure we don't accidentally select anything else. Press 1 to go in front view, Z to go into wire. So yeah, okay, we got everything selected. Now let's go into this material and click Assign, go into the render panel, click Assign again, and there you go. Okay, great. So now that's rendered that's that color, which I like. But let's say, let's make these middle ones a darker red, right? So basically it's the same process, right? So go press 1 to go into front view, and then go B to box select. So let's select this, box select these, box select this. And one tip actually, in order to select the face, you either have to click this face, or when you press B, your box selection tool has to go over it, okay? So what that means is if, for example, I box select this, nothing's selected because it hasn't actually selected the center point of a face. That's why I can just kind of select all these kind of haphazardly and not have to worry about selecting something else that I don't actually want to have selected, okay? That's a quick little tip for you. Okay, make sure, let's go through every single one. Perfect. So 1, let's zoom out and make sure we got everything. Yeah, looks good. Nothing else is selected. Okay, perfect. Nice, that's looking cool. Great. So let's go into, let's make a new material slot. Let's make a new material. And let's change this color to red again, but let's make it like a super dark red. Yeah, like much darker than the actual handle. Like something like that. Yeah, sure, that looks good. And hit Assign. Go into tab out of render mode, tab out of edit mode, and go rendered. And there you go. Okay, great. So that's looking pretty good so far. I'm liking how that's coming together. Now, let's say we want to do, yeah, let's maybe try and color these pieces, right? So let's go A to deselect everything else, go B for the box selection tool, and let's just select all this right here, right? Okay, perfect. So with that selected, we're gonna do the same thing again. We'll go make a new slot, make a new material, and then let's make this kind of like a, yeah, you know what, let's make this like a gold color. Yeah, let's make this more of like a gold color. Sure. Something, what's a nice gold? Yeah, something like that maybe. Yeah, something like that. Sure, let's go with that. Hit Assign, and then check it again in render to make sure it went through. And there you go. Okay, great. Yeah, I like how that's looking so far. Not too bad. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy. But you know what, we can even take it a step further and maybe add some detail. Like for example, let's select these faces right here. And then let's select these faces right here. Not that one, these faces. And then let's go back into this material, which we had colored this section right here, and hit assign. So let's go object mode, check in rendered, and there you go. Okay, not too shabby, not too bad, not too bad. But let's even take it one step further, right? Like let's keep let's keep coloring things a little bit differently, just to get a little bit more, not necessarily technical, but a little more cleaner with how we want this sword to look. So maybe let's select these faces right here, and then let's select these faces. I want this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and this one. Space 1. And then let's make this a new slot, new material. Let's make this like a darker gold, right? Yeah, let's make this kind of a bit of a darker gold. Something like this is probably good. Hit assign, go into object mode. There we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're coming together nicely so far. Now, what we could finally do is, since the blade is pretty much the last thing we want to color, you know what, actually, technically, the blade has a couple of different pieces we could color. It's got that outer edge right here, and then this inner section. So let's say we want to color this inner section a little bit. So let's go box selection, press 1 to make sure we're in front view. Let's box select these faces right here. Yeah, let's box select those faces. Let's box select those faces and maybe go make a new slot, make a new material, and then maybe make it slightly darker. Yeah, maybe make it slightly darker than the original material. Click assign, tab out of edit mode, go into rendered view, and there you go. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And yeah, it's looking pretty nice. I might say so myself. I quite like that. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. Okay, now what we could do is we could leave it at that, but let's take this a step. Let's even go one more step further, right? Because we want to try and make this as nice as we can. So maybe let's select, I'm just going to color a few more things. So first I'm going to do that by selecting these little faces, right? These little inside beveled faces. Going to do the same thing for this one. And I want this one. I want this one. Nope, not that. This one, and then this one. Yeah, let's select those. Make a new slot. Make a new material. Let's make this like super dark. And click assign. Okay. Now, so tab out of edit mode. Let's check it out one more time. There we go. Okay, great. That's looking pretty cool. That's looking pretty cool. So this is, let's take this one more step further though. Let's make it even more nice. So we have a diffuse shader on most of these materials, which means it pretty much makes the object look like it's made out of clay, or it doesn't really reflect light in any kind of way. But typically a blade is very shiny, right? So to do that, let's try and make it shiny. Let's try and make it a little more reflective and more metal, basically. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's go back to our original material, which is currently coloring these meshes right here. Just currently coloring these. Just currently coloring these faces. And instead of a diffuse shader, let's go Shift A and put a shader, and let's go glossy. Okay. Put it here for now, because what we want to do is copy the hex code of this color, and then let's just drop this in. Let's separate this node, bring this up here, bring this node up here, and connect these two. Okay, and then in the color mode, let's add the color we had originally selected into the shader, right? So now what that does is when we go into render mode, you can't really see it, but if I change the roughness, you can see that it actually will be a little more reflective. So let's add a light. Shift A, Object mode, Shift A. Let's make a lamp. Yeah, let's make a sun lamp. And let's just bring it up like this, and maybe bring it like that. Maybe rotate it like this. Okay, cool. Now let's go into render mode. And there we go. Okay, so let's turn up the emissions of our sun. Make it a little more bright. There we go. Okay, cool. So now you see that when we change the roughness of, no, not sorry. That's the wrong material I'm actually looking at. When we change the roughness of this glossy shader, it makes the material either completely reflective, like it's made out of metal, or completely non-reflective, like that, right? Okay, great. So let's keep it at maybe 5. Yeah, let's keep it at 5 for now. And then what we'll do is we'll actually just go around and do the exact same thing for the other materials, right? So this one I believe is also part of the blade. So let's control copy this, go into Shift A, shader, glossy shader, drop this here, paste it into the hex code value, deconnect these nodes. Let's bring this here and connect these ones, and let's see how that's looking. Nice. Okay, cool. Right. Yeah, I like that. I like it. And yeah, sweet. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, see, there you go. See, when I rotate the sword, the blade becomes extremely a lot more glossy. Has a lot more of a glossy vibe. Object mode, go to rendered. Here we go. There we go. Okay, cool. Let's make sure that the right faces though are being selected. So let's go into edit mode, face, select these ones. And oh, you know what? This one is actually the one that is actually the center one, which is why I wasn't seeing it before. So let's just do the exact same thing. Let's go control this hex code value, go Shift A, make a shader, make a glossy shader, paste the hex code value in the color, and then just overwrite the previous one. Tab out of edit mode, and let's check it out. There we go. Nice. Perfect. So we can either make it completely opaque or completely glossy, depending on how you want this sword to be. Maybe something in the middle is not too bad. And yeah, there we go. Now we got a really cool sword that has actual metal pieces in it actually has metal pieces. And you know what? I'll actually even go ahead and make this gold piece glossy as well. Shift A shader. Let's put a glossy shader. Let's change the color to this hex code value, and let's change the material output, and then maybe make it pretty shiny. Yeah, and there we go. Nice. Okay, cool. Now we got a low poly sword that has a nice some nice shaders to it. Very simple, super simple shaders. These are really, really basic materials, so you can go really in depth with how your shaders are. And maybe I'll show you some cool ones I've made in the past. But anyway, hopefully this video is helpful for you. If you want to see maybe how I do texture painting, let me know. But yeah, this is a very simple and quick way of texture colorizing your models. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully the video is helpful, and I will see you in the next one, okay? Bye. Thanks for watching the video. If you like my content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Let me know down below what you want to see next, or just check out some of these other great videos. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you later.